So, are you ready to run with it? You know, we have been talking about this for a few weeks now, and we've asked some really difficult questions of ourselves, of our faith, about Abraham, about Genesis, about what God might be calling us to do. And last week, we even held a commitment night where we tried to draw this line in the sand and say, hey, from this point forward, I'm committing to running with it. And today we're going to put a little bow on top of this present and highlight a few ways that this running with it idea can truly flourish in our lives. We're also going to hear first the story of a couple of our friends who are living this out, and we want to show them to you right now.
Hi, I'm Emma Borley. I'm in 11th grade and I attend the Mountain Road campus. Up until about, I'd say, 10th or 9th grade, I had only been a Sunday church person. I'd only go to Sunday and then I'd come home and I'd be like, oh, I forgot everything. But like, I still would come back next week and be like, oh, like this makes sense. Let me do it throughout the week. And then I wouldn't do that. I attend a small private school and we go on a mission trip every year, and it finally got like re-released to us. I went to Honduras. It was a mission trip to an orphanage. During the day, we'd go and we take a bus trip to the village, and we helped build the walls to a church they were planting there. And like the pastor came and like thanked all of us like every day, and like they cooked food for us, and they were so thankful that we were there helping. And like no matter who you passed on the road, like they would just wave hi to you. Like they didn't know anything about you, but they'd wave hi to you because they all most of them had Jesus, and that was just what they wanted to do and wanted to be happy all the time and joyful. The kids there had so little, but they were so grateful. Like whenever you came out to play with them, they'd be like, oh my gosh, come play with me. Like, let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm like, these people love God so much, but yet they had so little and I had so much. So it didn't really make sense for me to have little faith. So then I started like reading my Bible, like actually doing Bible plans with my small group and participating much more. And it kind of grew me as a person because I never thought I'd pray out loud in small group, or I'd pray out loud at school, or I'd read my Bible during small group. Like I'm like the most introverted person ever. Like I never thought I'd be able to do that. After that mission trip and like throughout the summer at CIY, like I realized I'm like, this just can't be a Sunday thing. This has to be an everyday thing. My Kingdom Worker card I got this year was spend an hour a week reading the Bible and going through Psalms. And that has been a struggle for me because I don't have an hour. Look at my phone. Yes, I do have an hour. So I've broken it up into 10 minutes a day, reading a Psalm and then like writing about it. And then I also just started, Mountain came out with the devotional for students, and I've been trying to do that every day. I just say like stay consistent because not everyone's gonna have the experience or opportunity I had. Like God writes all of our stories different, and he's gonna write your story different. It's not gonna look like mine or someone else's. It's gonna look like your story and God's story. So he's gonna make everything happen for your timing. Like it's not gonna go against you, it's gonna go for you. He is for you.
My name is Jacob. I'm in 11th grade and I go to the Mountain Road campus. At Fall Retreat 2021, I started to take my faith seriously. I really felt like I wasn't serious enough about my commitment to God. Like, my relationship with him was kind of taking a back seat to other things in my life, and I really wanted to come back to him. I don't have a job or like anything like that, so money isn't really something I can give, but I have time as a high schooler / middle schooler at the time, and that is something I could give. So I wanted to give God everything I could. I serve on the students production team and the students leading team. Then I also serve on Sunday production and SMT. Oh no, you can't start it all at the same time. You gotta, be comfortable in one position, and then you can add another one. And then when you're comfortable in both of those positions at the same time, then you can think about adding another one. Like, it's not dump all the blocks together and you have a castle. You gotta block by block. And I just, keep serving, and people are like, oh, Jacob, I think that you would be great for leading at Mix. Okay, Zach, I can do that. The first week, I was by myself with 16 sixth graders. It was very difficult. Before I go to bed, I make sure to read a chapter of a book of the Bible. So like recently, somebody advised me to read Proverbs. So that's what I've been working on. But I read one chapter, and then I try and like take notes on it, I guess. Like, where do I think this would apply? I have felt God's presence. I've seen what he's done for other people, and it's just so undeniable that why would you stop running?
I love those stories because it showcases just what happens when we choose to trust God and truly run with our faith. Because, and you've heard this so much over the past few weeks, that when you run with your faith, things start to change. Life starts to change. So I want to close our time together by looking at a few key areas of our lives, the ways that we can maybe run the race of faith and maybe changes something for us. So, for instance, how do you run the race of faith when it comes to your relationship with your parents, with a person in your life that you see as a parent figure? How do you take that posture of service in your home? What sacrifices can you think that you can make to allow your parents to receive some love and respect and some rest? Does your parent work a few jobs to make it work in your home like mine did growing up? Sacrificing our time to do the dishes, to fold the laundry, the mundane stuff, the stuff that needs to get done around the house, mow the yard, clean the pool, weed the garden, the stuff you may take for granted that is done for you. How can you be the one doing it for your parents? How can you show up, sacrificing your time to be able to do that for them? What about the relationships at home with your siblings? I know, listen, look, I am a younger brother, and trust me, I know we are very annoying. I get it. But where can you sacrifice your time to show up for them? Younger siblings, how can you show respect to your older siblings, giving them space? How can you, older siblings, play and interact with your brothers and sisters? Remember, the small decisions of faith that we make have lasting impacts in the future. The respect and the patience and the love that you show your siblings, hey, get this, that showcases the type of faith you have in Jesus. Okay? Well, what about your friendships? What about the people you hang with? Now, hold on, man, Chase, hold on. Do not mess with my crew. Those are my boys. Those are my girls. They're my ride or dies, and I get it. Your friendships are important. So let me ask you, is your crew making you a more godly you? Or are your friendships a breeding ground for things like toxicity, gossip, bullying? Are your friendships shaping you into what God desires of you, like iron sharpening iron? Or do your friendships authorize you to be empty? Arrive empty, leave empty? Do your friendships challenge you? Or are your friendships simple transactions of fleeting fun with no substance? How do your friendships showcase your faith? How do you run with your friendships? Okay, what about your significant other? Your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your boo, your bae, whatever it is. You're finally no longer just talking on Snap, but you're going out, you're hanging out, you're spending time with each other at school, outside of school, at their house. And that's a really, really important relationship, right? It matters to us. We care about that stuff. Are you going to be the couple that enjoys the ride? Maybe you want to take things to a level you probably shouldn't go, or maybe you feel that even pressure to do that, even if you don't really want to. Or are you going to allow your faith to speak into this relationship and allow boundaries and self-respect to be the highlights of your relationship? How will you two spend time together with God and grow close together with God as you grow close to each other? How will you treat that person? Are you going to allow culture to tell you to cheat or abuse or take it easy or take advantage of each other? Or are you going to treat the other person with the respect that God created them to have? What does it running with it look like in those relationships? Okay, so what about at school or your co-op or your sports team, your hockey, your basketball, your football, your field hockey, your softball? What about your clubs? Like your chorus, your orchestra, band, okay, let's just say, what about your public life? What does running the race of faith mean for your public life? It might look like what it currently does, where your faith is separate. You foul mouth like the rest of your classmates, you consume porn and show off the videos you found to your buddies on the bus, you isolate people who aren't like you, who are just weird, or you just don't like. What if your faith showed up in those spaces? What changes? Trust me, moving your faith outside of these four walls is tough. Many people are going to be a bit confused to your decision. Like, what has changed about you? Why are you making this adjustment in your life? But I have a feeling that some of you are ready for that change. You're going to welcome that change in your life because you have experienced Jesus, the love, the respect, the forgiveness, the acceptance. And now it's time for you to take all those things and provide them for someone else. How is running with your faith going to show up in your public life? And lastly, what about your private life? What about the you that no one really sees? What happens when you close your bedroom door at home? What does that look like? Maybe, you get home and you finish your homework, you do your chores if you have to, and then what? Are you tuning out the world? Are you vegging out on video games? Are you vegging out on food? Are you getting a little embarrassed by the amount of screen time you're accumulating? Are you ready for your life to have more meaning and purpose? Are you done wondering if this life is even worth it in the first place? Then it's time for your faith to show up in your private life. Are you spending time in silence? Are you praying? Are you listening to the voice of God? Are you reading scripture and taking in the characters and understanding the story? Are you asking questions about God? Because we know that faith is not just a pill we swallow or a group that we go to, but it's a trajectory we take where we are choosing daily to deny our own way of living and choose the way of God. Friends, run with it. Run with it because life without God is empty. It only gets you so far. Run with it because God has work for you to do. And yes, God is waiting for your yes. And when you're ready, God has a life waiting for you that will be beyond your wildest dreams. So, are you ready? Get set. Let's go.